What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing the final season, that's season 6 of Better Call Saul. Now I'm going to come out and say it just from the get-go that I think Better Call Saul is probably the best show we've had since Breaking Bad. These two shows exist probably in a league of their own when it comes to television storytelling. And in my opinion, along with maybe one or two other shows, they are the closest we've come to Shakespearean levels of character development and narrative unraveling that we have in the modern age. Honestly, the focus on character-driven storytelling in these shows across the board is phenomenal. Although I think I would still say I probably prefer Breaking Bad, I think it was just better at juggling all of its different plot threads at once. Whereas in the early seasons of Better Call Saul, it definitely felt like two different shows with the kind of cartel side and the legal side that did eventually coalesce. But my god, the final season of Better Call Saul just hit every high it was possible to hit. I think the cinematography of Better Call Saul has surpassed Breaking Bad for me. It is easily the best shot television show I think I've ever watched, I could probably say with confidence. The fact that every frame is telling a story of its own within a scene, within an episode, is just fantastic. The attention to detail in the visual aspects of this show just transcend anything else I've probably ever watched. I think every character in this show pretty much got a bittersweet send-off this season, which just felt wholly appropriate and natural to where these characters' trajectories were naturally building up to. We had the heroic martyrs this season who exited quite early in Nacho and Howard, and then we had the Machiavellian conspirators like Kim and Sol have to ultimately face their actions at the end. It was just a beautiful way to wrap off everyone's stories. I think if there was one downside to season 6, it was maybe the kind of disconnect after episode 9 when we jumped forward and focused more on the Saul Gene Takovich era of Jimmy McGill's life. And I can see how some people found those final 4 episodes a bit disjointed, a bit disconnected, and a bit slower, more mundane. But again, that was the point. This was the kind of come down. This was the epilogue, the sobering up period when you kind of reflect on everything that he's been through and everything that has led him to this point. You know, the show is pretty much about regrets. I think while all the cameos and callbacks weren't essentially necessary at times, it was still fantastic to see how these kind of events unfolded from Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill's perspective. I think for me the first half of the season was definitely stronger, I think because there was that added level of suspense. You really didn't know where the fates of characters like Lalo and Nacho and Howard were going to end up. Whereas the second half of the season was all about fallout. It was all about emotional fallout, legal fallout, and the characters reconciling with their guilt and their actions over the past 63 episodes. And ultimately I think it ended the only way it could. It felt like Jimmy got to have his cake and eat it at the same time, despite where he ends up at the end of the finale. It still feels like he comes out on top. Morally and emotionally, I think Jimmy McGill wins. And there's not a lot of characters in the Breaking Bad universe you can say that about. I think Jimmy McGill and Jesse Pinkman are the only characters who, going forward, might be happy with their lives. And this really does feel like the end of an era. Between Better Call Saul, El Camino and Breaking Bad, I think we have a real tapestry of just storytelling mastery on display. You just cannot fault Better Call Saul. It is just a phenomenal piece of filmmaking at every level, like its predecessor, and I think we will genuinely not see a show as good as this for years to come. But please let me know what you guys thought. Drop your comments and thoughts below. Please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. That's always a huge help. But in the meantime, thank you for watching guys, and we'll see you for the next vid.